ladies and gentlemen. It's August 1st. This is just a quick impromptu live. You better get used to these because this is how I do during the season. Quick and unannounced. Sometimes they'll be announced, sometimes they won't, but announcements are not necessary once the season gets started, honestly. Announcements are good, but once my page gets into the algorithms, the famous hard to understand algorithms, they're just gonna push it out there. As soon as I go live, everybody will get their notifications. I know right now nobody's getting notifications because I am subscribed to my own page, and I put something up on this page 6 days ago, and it gave me the notification yesterday that it was like as if it was just posted that yesterday. So do me a favor, hit the like button, drop a comment in here when you see this, share the stream if you can, and make sure you hit that notification bell because all of those things help. Now, on to the title. The title of this is August 1, and I must admit. So, right now, I'm headed through this New York City traffic. I'm leaving early for once on my way to this Big Brother. I guess I call it a reality lip sync party because it's not just going to be Big Brother, but it's Big Brother heavy. I would say probably half the people there are going to be Big Brother people. And I'm going to be there. And it doesn't start for a few hours, but I'm going to go early, get something to eat, relax, all that good stuff. But the typical start of the season is very exciting for me because I love my reality TV schedule. I like getting into the shows. I like seeing, old people that I haven't seen in a while or new people. In the case of the challenge, you get to see repeat people. In the case of Big Brother, it's usually new people unless they have an all-star season. So this season is all new cast. There is some level of excitement for that, and I feel like it's gonna pick back up for me once the season has started. But a lot of people have reached out and been like, are you excited, Mark? I'm excited. It's been a long wait. I'm ready to get the season going and dive into the house and see what's going on with the house guests. In August of 2022, let's see, July, August, September. Towards the end of August of 2022 is when I started covering Big Brother. In August of 2022, my dad was still in the house, and he wasn't doing well, but he was still here. He was here when I started my coverage of this, and sometimes he would even be sitting there watching me do the coverage. And I remember when I started covering it, I was taking care of him at that time. I was one of his caretakers. And when I thought about the start of this season coming up, I thought about the fact that this is going to be the first season without him here. And that was a difficult thought for me because I remember how uplifting my community on my music and mental health page was during that time, because there were times when I had to hop off my lives. There was a time when my dad had a stroke while I was doing a live, and I had to hop off the live and run to the hospital. That day was my most popular day in terms of doing lives. I had the most viewers that I ever had that day. I hopped off the live, I went to the hospital, spent a few hours there, came back and told everyone I was coming back on. And at 1 in the morning, Eastern time, about 1 in the morning, I turned my live back on. And almost all those same people were there and some new ones. And they were all asking how he was doing and all that. So the excitement is tempered a little bit by the fact that I'm still grieving, and a lot of things are first. August was his birthday month. I remember last August, I took off the day from work, and he was in the nursing home at that time. And we were still hopeful that he would make some kind of recovery, enough to be able to come home. He never did come home, but we were hopeful that he was gonna come home. But I went into the nursing home. I sat with him for a while. I watched some boxing matches with him because he loved Muhammad Ali. I played some music for him because he loved when I played music for him. I fed him. Um, I just determined to spend the day with him because even though he had his dementia, and I know that he wasn't quite aware of everything, I felt like he's aware of my presence there. So I made sure that my presence was there on that day. And I even said bye to him just in case, because we didn't know how much time he had left. But that's where I was with Big Brother last year. And it was kind of an outlet for me. It was like a different set of things that I could think about. I could focus on the house guests, and I could focus on all the different mistakes that they're making and the conversations that they're having. I'm not even going to get into those things because I'm ready for BB25. But some things instantly popped into my head. Matter of fact, I am going to get into those things. Like the bullying at the start of the season, Kyle talking about the Cookout 2.0, Brittany being Brittany, Michael wanting to save Taylor but trying to expose Kyle when Turner was HOH. I was all into that stuff. I was very into it, and it was a needed distraction. But it's interesting. My dad passed April 16th of this year. So it's still very fresh. It's still very good. And he passed on April this year. And when he passed, all that time freed up. The time that I was spending going into the nursing home, and the time that I was worrying about him and figuring out, bringing him clothes and getting him toothbrush and toothpaste and lotion for his skin and for his bed sores and stuff. Like, it was a lot of things going on at that time. And you would think that when you don't have those obligations anymore, you're like, oh, now I have the free time to just do what I do and do what I want to do. No, there's a space in your head that is missing your loved one. And there's a space in my head that misses my dad. And there's a part of me that connects my Big Brother coverage experience to my dad, because he was very present during the season. I remember sometimes, like towards the end, actually when Big Brother started, he was already, he was in hospice care at that time when the Big Brother season started. So I remember actually going to see him. I would go to see him like 6 o'clock, and closing time was 8. I would get off work 5 p.m. I would go right over to the nursing home. I'd get there like 5:30, quarter to 6, and then 6:15, 6 o'clock or whatever until closing time, which was about 8. I would sit with him and talk to him, read things to him, sing with him. And then I would feel okay because like I know that I saw him. I know that I touched in and let him know that I was in there. And then I would come back and I'm like, the show is in an hour, and then I would dive into the show. I'd get on and my community would be like, how's your dad? I'd be like, I saw dad as well. You know, he's stable, his condition is stable. I spoke to him, I saw him, I hugged him. You know, he's good as he's gonna be. Now let's get into the show. So it's a little bit more of a somber feeling. But I'm obviously pushing through that because a lot of people are like, man, you're so lucky to be going to this or to be going to these events, meeting these people. You know, it's true. I know a lot of fans wish that they lived in areas where these people held these events, and they mostly hold them in big cities. I know they're having I know they always have California and New York. They usually have like Florida. I know this particular one has Michigan, Washington D.C. I can't remember. There's a fifth location that I can't think of right now. But yeah, I do feel fortunate to be able to do this, but also it's me pushing myself to go out because really I don't feel like going out. This last Challenge Mania event that I went to where I met CT, meeting CT was awesome. But I met him, let's see, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I met him 5 days after I buried my dad. So it wasn't the fun that I thought that it would be when I signed up for it, because when I signed up for it was before my dad passed. And then when I got there, I tried to put myself into fan mode and be like, oh, I think about what am I going to say when I talk to him. Oh, I loved when you did Banana's backpack. How did you feel about Adam? What's going on with this and this and that? And are you coming back to a challenge? I thought I was going to say all those things to him because usually when I see people from the show, I tend to ask them show questions, especially now that I have a page that follows me for those things. But the only thing that I could think of after I met him and shook his hand was to be like, hey CT, I buried my dad on Monday. And there was a weightiness to what I said, and I wish I could have thought of something else, but at the same time, after I said that, he gave me like a bunch of advice about grieving and what grieving was like for him. And that advice that he gave me, I'm going to treasure that because, you know, I didn't expect that from CT. Especially from what I saw CT doing before I got up there. But you never know sometimes what you can expect from somebody until, I don't know, you put them in a position to be able to show you their character and who they are, right? So anyways, in summary, I'm not doing the greatest right now. I'm not the most excited right now about the season. However, the part that excites me the most is not even the show, it's the community. That, as you guys have heard me keep repeating, the community, the community, the community. Olia, who was on my channel for the first time, I can't even remember, a few days ago, Sunday, she was on my channel on Sunday evening. We did like a short panel discussion. about Challenge USA 2 coming up. And after we were finished with the filming, she told me that something that she appreciated about my page when she found it compared to like other pages was that my community is not a toxic one, is not one that talks down about the people from the shows and their personal lives. We can talk all the mess we want about their game, how they play the game, how they're too emotional, how they depend too much on hookups, all that stuff, man. I mean, it's part of the show. If it's part of the show, it's all fair game while the show is going on. But my particular community does not trash people outside of the show. At least not within my page, because they know that my page is low tolerance for that. And I never thought that I would find that kind of community following reality TV shows. I didn't think it exists. Because I've looked at Reddit, I've looked at Facebook forums, I've looked at different places where fans connect and talk about different shows, and they're not like my page. So that's where the excitement comes from for me. This is not all sad. This is just me being transparent. This is just me being transparent and letting you guys know where I am right now and where my mental state is. There's no way that you can just bury somebody 2.5 months ago and just be fine. And just be like, okay, now I'm better and let's move on with life. I'm not a robot. I'm human. I have feelings. I have emotions. Actually, I'm looking forward to seeing Hannah there. And the reason why I'm looking forward to seeing Hannah, not just Hannah, but Hannah, Big D, and also Hannah and Big D. I think it was just them. I don't believe Tiffany was in the chat that day, but I follow their podcast, which I'm actually about to flip on in a minute once I get off here, called Royalty. It's called Royalty, and yeah, I'm gonna flip on their podcast. But I was actually watching one of their episodes a few days after my dad passed, and they were cracking me up because they were in the chat section responding to everybody's comments, and I don't remember what it was, but we were just typing a whole bunch of things in the chat, and I was laughing, and it was really the first time I had laughed like that in some time. And I posted that in the chat. I was like, thank you guys so much. And it came from my music and mental health page specifically. It didn't have my name or anything. And Hannah was like, Mark, I'm so sorry for the loss of your dad. I'm sending all the love your way, whatever. Some comment, I saved it. I don't know. It's in my phone somewhere. I saved the comment. And then Big D made a comment also, sending condolences. And I really appreciated that at that time. And when I appreciate things that people do, I tend to tell them when I can, when I get the opportunity. So I hope to be able to do that tonight. But yeah, I'm looking forward to connecting with my community again, because I know everybody is going to be back. I know that the group is going to be back, the gang is going to be back, and we're going to be chopping it up, cracking jokes. We're going to have to send some trolls up out of here. We are going to be arguing and debating about house guests again. We're going to be talking about life in between, things going on with people's lives, and we're going to just uplift each other and keep this thing rolling. And this page is the new spot for that. I know that a lot of people are going to look for my music and mental health page, I might do a joint live on both pages on my first live feed party day, just to let people know to join my other page. I don't know. Or I probably will just post that on my community link, like follow this page. But yeah, those are my thoughts. And I'm not too far away from my location. I'll talk to y'all soon. Laters.